Kagurabachi!
Man, why are you guys so hype about this manga, bruh? Oh look guys, it's another manga where a guy wearing a black coat is wielding a katana on his way to get his revenge. Wow. Whatever, bruh. I wanna read better manga like Kanokari, Ueno-kun, The Sopranos. So I've been following Kagurabachi since the Beam era, and not to toot my own whistle here, but I'm kinda a Kagurabachi OG.
Well,
At the time of the recording, I've read the manga like 4 times now, and yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, if you haven't even read it, you've probably seen how the teaser for anime adaptation just made the animator community basically exploded all over the place. And so did I. But at this point, all of you probably have heard about this manga and wonder why people are so excited for a new chapter each week and its adaptation. But like, how did that even happen? Like, how did this manga, where everyone clowned it when it first was announced on Shonen Jump, become the absolute juggernaut of a shonen battle manga series it is today? So then, accompany me as we walk through the mountains, as we climb our way to the to the peak of this manga, and how it became Kagurabachi out of 10. So the first couple of chapters introduces us to Chihiro Rokuera, the son of a famous swordsmith who was brutally murdered and stripped away from his 7 sword masterpieces, called the Enchanted Blades. These blades possess the ability to affect the world of Kagurabachi as they possess extremely destructive powers. Chihiro then goes on a journey with a simple goal in mind, to exterminate every evildoer who possesses a sword and take back the stolen lifetime work of his father in order to protect the innocent. When the first chapter came out, the premise low-key doesn't really leave that much of an impression on me, but like, it's not that it's not original, it's just, we've seen this kind of driver that pushes the story forward from time to time, but with each new chapter that came out weekly, Hokazono begins to show us that the lore of the world in Kagurabachi isn't really set in stone, as they like to build a new layer on the story, which always gives us a new perspective on the characters. Let's start on Chihiro's dad, Kunishige Rokuera. A lot of characters will respect him because he was remembered as one of the heroes and a big factor which tips the scale in the Seitei War, a war that sank an entire island and a small country worth of people as he forged the 7 enchanted blades to be given to 7 master swordsmen. So Chihiro always looks up to his father as a model figure, and he sees the enchanted blade as an extension of Kunishige's personality. Unfortunately, Kunishige Rokuera was gay-minded by an organization called the Hishakus, and this is what set Chihiro on his journey for revenge, and he used his father's blade for that purpose. I think what makes Chihiro so fascinating compared to typical shonen protagonists is that he completely skips the naive kid phase. He doesn't want to be the Hokage, he doesn't care about being the king of art, and he especially isn't trying to save the villains through the power of friendship. He is a deeply traumatized 18-year-old whose childhood was abruptly replaced by a blood-soaked massacre. Violence doesn't shock him anymore because now he treats it like a job that his father left behind. He's cold, he's efficient, and he represents a much more mature, grim, and unapologetic shift in Shonen Jump's usual lineup. Chihiro justifies his actions as a way to kill evildoer in order to protect the peace, because that is what he believes what his father wanted for him. But in the first arc, we see a man named Sojo who wields one of the enchanted blades called the Cloud Gouger. where he just saw it as an instrument in a lot of his heinous act, and he believes that the purpose of the enchanted blades are what the user wants it to be. Next, there is Akemura Soga, the second coming of an Austrian painter, who views the blade as a way to exterminate every evildoers and to protect the innocent. Sounds familiar? Through this clash of ideologies, Chihiro then gains a new understanding of how different people were affected by the creation of the enchanted blades, like how Yura said in his panel. Yura, the leader of the Shakus, is a very mysterious character. We were only given like crumbs to what he does the stuff he do in the story, but his charismatic personality makes it pretty hard for us to forget him. Next, there is another character named Seichi Samura, who is a master swordsman that wields the enchanted blade called Tobimune, where his story shines a light on how different people remember the heroes from the Seitei War, where yes, like most of them are really grateful to the participants in the war for creating an age of peace in Japan. But from the start, we were teased that the story of the war have a dark underlying undertone, a secret that is being covered up by the government organization that handles all the sorcery stuff, the Kamunabi. The everyday people that know the true knowledge of what happened during the war are disgusted by the Kamunabi and the heroes of the war. And from Samura, we see not only how the harassment by the people have affected Samura in his everyday life post the war, it also seeps into the life of his daughter, Iori Samura. This drives Seichi Samura into a mission of self-destruction, where he is going to game and every Swordmaster to free the fate of the heroes of the war. I think this is why I quite enjoy this story. The premise and the world are pretty simple, where it doesn't really intimidate its reader to push them away from reading it, but it rewards you as you progress through the story, where every piece of the puzzle are being constructed all together. Kagurabachi gives each character and side character a platform and enough room to blossom their character arc in their own right. Especially for Chihiro, the ending really speaks volumes about the development Chihiro had throughout the story, from the really edgy teenagers that probably said some shit like, "I imagine that so much it feels more like a memory," to a more goodwill character that's trying his best to protect the people around him, and it makes me more interested in what his future endeavors will be. But even when it does lack it, writing or character or whatever the hell, Hokazono just do what he do best. He just gave them some straight gas, baby! Oh yeah, now this is the good part. Kagurabachi never really runs out of characters to follow, be it the main cast of Chihiro, the ever-elusive Shiba, and the clumsy Hakuri, and the other side characters that adds a certain flair to each of their respective arc area. Of course, I can forget the aforementioned wielders of the enchanted blade, the Hishakus, and their plan together and use the enchanted blades for their personal needs, and also the very intricately designed female characters. The characters in Kagurabachi are designed simple enough to where whenever they move in an action scenario, it makes the action pretty cohesive. Now, that is important because Hokazono uses each panel as a cinematic storyboard. If I may visualize how Kagurabachi action feels like to me, it's like watching a shotgun being fired off, where there's gonna be multiple panels of the shotgun being pumped as you absorb the atmosphere around you, and after you flip through the next page, you're shown the bombastic aftermath of the shotgun pellets hitting someone. For example, take a look at the fight between Sojo and the Anti-Cloud Gouger squad, where the Anti-Cloud Gouger squad have already set up and are preparing to do the final blow to Sojo, but immediately, Sojo somehow tabled the turn around them and then massacres the rest of the squad. It's kinda insane. It always feels satisfying, but sometimes it can be pretty difficult to follow the character's movement and imagine how they're moving in that space. This is why Hokazono basically focuses on the character's silhouette in the action scenes, which makes it pretty clear how the choreography works. I especially like the silhouette of certain characters like certain characters with really distinguishable designs. As I said, it really helps as it leads Hokazono to having more creative freedom in how he arranges his characters in various action scenarios. Let me give you some examples. First is the final fight between Chihiro and Sojo, where the gimmick of the whole fight is that it only lasts 12 seconds. You can feel the speed of the fight because both of the characters are constantly moving in a panel. Couple that with a countdown in every panel signifying what a second entails and the movement the characters do in that second. It is really cool seeing the brutal stuff they did in just those 12 seconds, and you're being exposed to it raw, to the fight with no filter at all. Another example is the fight in the Kyoto Bloodshot Hotel, which is a fight in a scale we've never seen before in Kagurabachi. I like to separate the fight into 3 stages, where the first one is the fight between Chihiro and Hirohiko, one of a Hishoku's member, where the both of them are only holding a normal katana, where the only thing they can rely on is their aptitude with their blade. Their skills are perfectly displayed by their mastery of the fastest esoteric sword style called the EI White Purity style. The fight really utilized the amenities of the hotel, have like the lift or even the people, and I forgot to mention that Hokazono really loves using fish islands for his panels though. That's pretty cool, but it's not just fish islands. No, my sweet child. It's the way that he manipulates time in Kagurabachi. In a lot of battle manga, fights are cluttered with massive walls of exposition text explaining exactly how a power works midway. Hokazono completely throws that out of the window. He uses what filmmakers call smash cuts, completely silent panels of anticipation, but immediately distraught by a massive, border-breaking, even panel-burning action sequence. Oh my god, they just got the panel? When characters clash, time literally halts, letting their swords do the talking. It gives the manga this more intensely kinetic, grunge aesthetic, where you can practically hear the audio cues and the blade flashes just by turning the page. Each time a character uses the EI White Purity style, the atmosphere is somewhat unlike a western shootout, with each opponent waiting for who will make the first move, and when it happens, all hell just breaks loose. Like, damn bruh. Next is the fight that consisted of 3 enchanted blade users, Chihiro with Enten, Hirohiko with the Kumeiri, and then Samura with the Tobimune. The fight showed us how the enchanted blade users can utilize the sorcery of each blade. At this point, we've seen a lot of what the Enten can do, but we were just given a taste of what the Kumeiri does. The first one is Banquet. It allows the user to make people extremely hallucinate while also affecting their senses. And the second one is Play, which lets Hirohiko to freely manipulate objects around him. This leads to him manipulating corpses, and the most strong display by him is manipulating the entire hotel itself. But of course, all of that doesn't matter in the eyes of Samura. Wait, that doesn't work. Anyway, Samura basically no-dips the hell out of Hirohiko with the power of Tobimune's power, Suzaku. Power that can nullify all of the wreckage that Hirohiko did. The final stage of the fight is just between Chihiro and Samura, both standing to fight for what they believe in. And the purpose of the fight is for Chihiro to show Samura that his life is still worth to fight for, especially for his daughter. But talking doesn't matter to them, because the only way to them to communicate between them is to clash their blades. The fight ends with not one of them standing on top of each other, but an understanding of how they view the enchanted blades and the responsibility they were given with said power. I think the final fight that I want to highlight is the fight between Samura and Akimura Soga, a fight with 2 enchanted blade swordsman veteran that shows how high the ceiling is for a fight in Kagurabachi. You can now imagine how devastating the fight between them affects the environment around them, especially the effects of the Sunichi or the Magatsumi. I don't really know which the right name is. But just so you know, whenever Akimura draws Magatsumi, it drains the life of every living being around him in a wide scale. This leads Samura into a corner where he have to constantly put Suzaku around him and Chihiro in order to nullify that effect. Shiba is also here, I guess, just saving people left and right as fast as he can. So thanks, Shiba. The fight is quick, powerful, and legendary in its own right, even up until the final standoff of Samura and Akumura. As Samura prepares his EI White Purity style with the Tobimune, and Akumura with his Magatsumi, everything around them are destroyed and regenerate over and over as the powers of their blade are just coursing all around the area as they ready themselves. And finally, as they both draw their swords, the sheer heat of their blade being drawn are setting the place ablaze. And finally, well, I kinda want you guys to find out for yourselves, even though I've been spoiling a lot in this video, so sorry. But alas, this is why I really am engaged with how Kagurabachi handles their fights. It's not really the most strategical fight where you have to think hard of how the character's powers work, but they display it to you in a really unorthodox way. Hokazono truly mastered in presenting an action set piece in every panel he touched. Throughout this video, I've shown you guys a lot of actions that really sticks to me, but I don't think the film can really be replicated if you haven't read it for yourselves. Also, don't you want to see the Now, I know enough time has passed, absolute cinema, but I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, but I think that Kagurabachi isn't perfect. Yeah, shocker. The start of this series doesn't really capture my attentions at first, and it's alright. It's okay. It's not bad. It's just not strong intro to the leading arc. Okay, guys, but please don't kill me. The character design, while I said it was a good thing, but later on, everybody just got the same fit, which makes sense for the story and the world, but character doesn't really have a defining silhouettes that differentiate it from other characters. There's a lot more flaws I can spell out, like I said, but it's not a perfect series. Like, genuinely, it's not a perfect series, which is alright. But the reason why I brought it up and a topic I want to discuss in this part is the blind love some people have for Kagurabachi. This can apply to any series where if a manga or a series is someone's favorite manga, it's pretty hard for them to tell you any gripes they have for that manga. I mean, I act like that too, for some things. Yeah, so what if I love Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne? That game truly has no flaws whatsoever.
Thank you, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
Look, it's alright if Kagurabachi is your favorite ongoing shonen. It's probably one of my favorite. Actually, never mind. But I think not having any criticism for it, I personally feels is what makes Kagurabachi reading experience pretty stagnant. Having a criticism can help the mangaka a lot in improving their manga. Loving something means you can also tear their shortcoming, because you know that it can be better. You want it to be the best version of itself. But some people really goes to the extreme in saying Kagurabachi is their favorite, because they may resort to the weekly Shonen Jump ranking and volume sales data to validate that Kagurabachi is truly the alpha wolf of all other Shonen Jumps. And like, okay. Now, a lot of people that have this view just wanna ride the hype wave of Kagurabachi, because like all manga readers, they don't read their favorite manga. If you need the weekly Shonen Jump rankings or volume sales data or whatever the hell, I don't think you enjoy reading Kagurabachi for what Kagurabachi is. You just want to celebrate how big the series is. Hokazono also said that his objective with Kagurabachi is not for it to be the next Bible in Shonen Jump. He already knows what makes Kagurabachi good and keep doing it to the best of his abilities. So the best thing we could do as fans is we appreciate Kagurabachi for what it is. While not perfect, it is a great modern shonen anime that excels in its cinematic action and emotional characters. It is especially great at excelling people's expectations at the start of the series. It's kind of funny looking back at it. Back then, there was a famous tweet when the Kagurabachi manga was announced where Shonen Jump said this manga was going to reach like 100 million sales or something like that. And looking back, it was a very optimistic forecast, which is kinda cute for them. Of course, that this ludicrous number makes people's expectations just go through the roof, and the start of the "This is the best manga of all time," it started. It was hilarious, and you can't really go anywhere without looking at Chihiro's rock race and his infamous pose back then. But hey, look where we are now, lads. Because Kagurabachi now is the most successful thing ever. Well, why should you care about Kagurabachi then? Kagurabachi is a rare but beautiful anomaly case of a shonen jump manga that managed to transcend the pre-existing expectations people have for the series before it even began serializing and break the shackles, the weaponized internet irony before its first chapters even dropped. It proves that a manga with great substance, true artistic identity, and raw cinematic storytelling can break free from the cynical noise of the internet culture. It didn't survive because people just kept irony posting about Kagurabachi. It survived because it was actually good. My ultimate hope for this video is if you are already a fan reading along every single week, you can step away from the sales charts and to stop fighting in the Twitter trenches over the Shonen Jump ranking and just to appreciate the actual soul Hokazono puts into these pages. And for people that have not read it yet, I hope you can give it a fair chance because beneath the loud, intimidating hype train, what awaits you is a journey of masterclass fights with deeply engaging characters that makes you just want to keep reading it more and more. Also, there's a lot of oh mama, more brilliant stuff in Kagurabachi, of course. I hope Kagurabachi can be worth your time. Also, if you reached the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really sorry about my slow upload schedule because I'm trying to be a bit more consistent because still kind of juggle around college and stuff. And feel free to give this video a like and subscribe too because that will really help my channel. So thank you. I love you, lads. I guess in the end you could say that my personal score for Kagurabachi out of 10 is